5 reasons to remain bullish on silver prices. These 5 things make a strong case for higher silver prices. Silver prices this low could be offering a great investment opportunity. Long-term investors could reap massive rewards from the gray precious metal. There are at least 5 reasons to be bullish on silver in the coming months and quarters. 1. It's undervalued. To value silver, investors look at the gold to silver ratio. It essentially tells us how many ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold. Over the last 2 decades, whenever the gold to silver ratio has reached around 80, it has then dropped lower to around 45. So, whenever this ratio is around 80, silver is deemed undervalued. The below chart shows that the gold to silver ratio currently stands just slightly below 80. Saying the very least, the current ratio says that silver is undervalued. If we assume that this ratio drops to 45 again and gold prices remain the same, silver prices would have to go up a lot. 2. India has a growing appetite for silver. Usually, when talking about India, investors see the country as a major gold consumer. You should know, however, that India's appetite for silver is increasing. Consider that in June 2018, $364.24 million worth of silver was imported into the country. In June 2017, this amount was just $178.04 million. Simple math here, India imported 104.58% more silver in June this year than last year. Source: Quick estimates for selected major commodities for June 2018. India's Ministry of Commerce and Industry, last accessed August 8, 2018. 3. Consumer demand for silver is improving. Look at the mint sales of silver. It looks like there's a silver rush in the making. Some perspective: between June and July 2018, silver sales at the United States Mint surged by over 103%. It sold 885,000 ounces of silver in American Eagle coins. A month earlier, sales amounted to 435,000 ounces. Source: 2018 American Eagle, sales totals by month, United States Mint, last accessed August 8, 2018. At Australia's Perth Mint, in the first half of 2018, silver sales were less than 4.3 million ounces. This was lower than in the same period a year ago, but still very strong. In the first half of 2017, Perth Mint silver sales were almost 5.0 million ounces. Source: Perth Mint's June gold sales rise, silver sales plunge, Reuters, July 2, 2018. 4. Silver mine production is declining. Low silver prices are making it difficult for miners to produce more. Over the past few years, silver mine production has actually declined. In 2015, worldwide silver mine production was 895.1 million ounces. In 2017, it went down to 852.1 million ounces. This was a decline of close to 5% over 2 years. Source: Silver Supply and Demand, The Silver Institute, last accessed August 8, 2018. Don't for a second expect things to get better on the production side. Silver miners have cut back on exploration over the past few years. This essentially means they are far behind on increasing production. Remember, exploration is an investment in future production. 5. Economic data favors silver. Don't forget, silver is a precious metal. Just like gold, it hedges against inflation. And as it stands, we are seeing inflation creep up higher. In the US, in the first 6 months of 2018, prices increased by 1.1%. Source: CPI All Urban Consumers, Current Series, Bureau of Labor Statistics, last accessed August 8, 2018. With so much money being printed over the past few years, don't be shocked to see inflation soar higher in the US. Mind you, inflation is creeping up higher in other major economies as well. If this remains the case, it wouldn't be surprising to see investors rush to buy things that protect their assets. Silver could be one such thing. In other words, the current economic data favors higher silver prices. Count on the silver price going way higher in the long term. Given the course of the silver price, is it time to give up? The chart below doesn't cheat or mislead you. At about $15.40 per ounce, the silver price is at its lowest since April 2016. Is it time to give up on silver altogether? The short answer may surprise novice precious metal traders: absolutely not. If investors realize that the longer-term conditions for silver prices are auspicious as I argue here, then the silver price could move toward the $17.00 per ounce mark before the end of 2018. Experienced resource investors remember that in 2009, the silver price was even lower than it is now, only to reach over $41 per ounce in August 2011. Even more than gold, the demand for silver exists beyond the precious metal and speculative markets. Silver has significant industrial applications, for which the current supply won't be sufficient. The silver price is an opportunity. Thus, consider the current silver price an opportunity to get into what may well be the most interesting precious metals prospect around now. For the time being, silver investors must be patient. Whether for valid or invalid reasons, stocks in the US have been riding an almost 10-year bull market, the longest ever. This, combined with the expectation of higher interest rates and inflation, has propped up the US dollar. It's hard for the silver price to recover under such mighty forces. Still, the long-term prospects for the silver price amid trade wars and actual wars, Iran could well be the Pentagon's next target, are excellent. Even if the traditional haven investment incentive should fail, count on more concrete market forces to support it. Silver, in relative terms, could even outpace gold when the time comes for the precious metal to go back in vogue. That may take some time, but given the gold price as an indicator, the bottom may be approaching. Blame the dollar for silver's woes. The dollar index, which assesses the value of the greenback against 6 other currencies, has been rising. But it's starting to show some hesitation. Should the dollar stop moving higher, and there could be a reversal of fortune if the European Union decides to challenge US sanctions on Iran as announced on July 9, precious metals will start recovering. In addition, while the trade war is supposed to lower the US trade deficit and strengthen the US economy, there is no proof this has worked. Yes, a global trade war may well have the effect of reducing demand for resources altogether. More trade barriers, especially in the case of countries that have erected entire economies to support export industries, such as China, will necessarily slow down with negative repercussions on demand for raw materials. But has this trade war actually started yet? Indeed, even in the eventuality of a trade war, governments on both sides of it would be forced to find ways to prevent massive unemployment. Just as in Europe in the 1930s, China and the US would eventually redirect their energy to local investment and infrastructure, triggering a massive demand for resources and boosting precious metal prices higher. Remember, there's an important midterm election in November. More than anything, Trump wants to ensure that fellow Republicans can boast about all the electoral promises Trump has kept, even if the results may be more illusory than real. A real trade war with China would have already killed the US retail sector, and all the jobs it creates. Thus, I expect Trump to resolve the trade war either before the elections in such a way that he can present it as a victory, or right after. In the meantime, the silver price will remain under pressure. The dollar, like so many other things involving the markets these days, is moving on pure speculation. And without the dollar at such overvalued prices based entirely on perception rather than fact, the silver price would be far higher right now. Besides, the Fed's promised higher interest rates are premature. Much higher oil prices have distorted the data on inflation, and the Fed may have miscalculated. Typically, higher interest rates have the effect of slowing down the economy. Any sign of doubt or hesitation about interest rates, and President Trump has expressed his own concerns on the matter, will cause the dollar to drop, and precious metals to go up. And the Fed's hesitation could start rearing its head as early as the start of 2019. As the midterm electoral cycle will have ended, news about the US economy should become more realistic and less bombastic. Inflation fears will subside, prompting the Fed to stop its interest rate hike program. For the time being, investors appear to be too carefree to worry about the sort of things that prop up precious metal values. The long-term case for silver, and then there's the real long-term reason to be bullish on the silver price: electric transportation. Battery demand will explode, and batteries need silver. Note that I purposely wrote electric transportation and not just cars. That's because the entire transportation industry, including airplanes, is heading in the electric power direction. Magni-X is developing an electric motor to power what is normally a jet-powered, turboprop aircraft, the Cessna Caravan. Source: Magni-X promises electrically powered Cessna Caravan by summer 2019, June 7, 2018. Whether or not he will succeed in bringing it to market, Elon Musk has already unveiled a powerful electric truck. Electric trains might be able to run without the need for expensive infrastructure. The motors for the cars, planes, and trains will need research. But the most important element to make the electric transportation future possible remains the humble battery. Silver, king of conductivity. Few people realize that silver, one of nature's best conductors, plays a crucial role in electric circuits. Silver is also malleable. The combination of conductivity and malleability makes silver a leading metal of the future, as batteries and circuits will have to adapt to generate more power and fit into more things. Weight saving will demand the best possible conductivity with the highest malleability to make micro or nano circuits. Silver fits the bill, and it's already in hot demand from manufacturers of solar panels and medical devices. It's an element with a clear role in one of the most important growth industries. The battery aspect will improve one of the two crucial drivers of the silver price: supply. The other, as discussed above, is the interest rate. As is the case for gold, the silver price will reward those who are patient and do their homework on the metal's enormous potential.